Newsfirst, Newsline with Faraz.
Well, hello there. This is Newsline, and Newsline today is in conversation with that retired senior banker, Mr. Rusiripala, on several matters concerning finances. And hello there, Mr. Rusiripala. Thank you very much for coming on Newsline. There are several matters of fiscal policy matters or fiscal matters that I want to ask you about. But first of all, I'd like to take you to this issue about the monitoring of investments that come in to Sri Lanka. Does it mean, Mr. Rusiripala, that anybody from anywhere in the world can send money into Sri Lanka claiming it to be for a project? How does one control that? How does one believe that this money is coming for this specific purpose?
Firstly, Faraz, any investment coming into Sri Lanka from a foreign source will have to be channeled through a approved bank.
Right.
That's the first basic thing.
Yeah.
Once the money, unless it comes from G to G basis, if the investment comes into a bank, the banks are under obligation to verify to the satisfaction of the bank as well as to the satisfaction of the fulfillment of the requirements, exchange control requirements of the country. Fulfilling these two areas as to what the source is, whether it falls outside the money laundering suspicions, things like that. So therefore, there is a whole series of, a procedure that is applicable to ascertain that it doesn't fall into any of those.
Right.
So there are the KYCs of the sender, then there is the background information about the sender, then the project that he is involved in, the approvals, local, if there are any to be met, if it is in respect of a project, whether those approvals are in place, whether they are authoritative, whether they are accepted, if the cabinet approval for certain things are required, whether the cabinet approvals are in place.
So
now,
a whole series of checks and balances.
If one does it correctly, and one does it to conform to the rules, all these things will have to be looked into.
Right. Okay.
Otherwise, one can say, well, there is a KYC, somebody sent it, X, Y, or Z, and that money came into the bank. But that doesn't fulfill the requirements, the country requirements, as well as the international money laundering regulations.
Right.
You know, for money laundering, it is not only our country that is interested.
Yes, the entire world.
Entire world is concerned because it is a matter in so much as it affects the country, it also affects another country.
Indeed.
So
and also there's a charter, isn't there, a United Nations Charter on corruption.
Yes.
So these all sort of intertwined and interrelated.
Interconnected. All are interconnected, therefore the fulfillment of the requirements basically require the clearance of all those areas.
So it's not only enough to say, well, the money is coming through a bank and that's the end of the matter.
No, that is one way of, evading the issue. That's not all. There are so many, all these things will, unless they fall into place, one cannot say certainly that this money is cleared from this money laundering aspect.
On that note, we'll go for a short break. We'll be right back. Don't go away, because after all, this is Newsline.
Newsfirst, Newsline with Faraz.
රටදිනා ලොවදිනු ඔවුන්ගේ කතාව. හෙට දිවිය දිනනා ඔබට සවියක් වන්න. බලන්න, විදින්න, සිතන්න. The Big Boss Show. සෙනසුරාදා සවස 5:30ට TV1 ඔස්සේ.
හෙළයේ මහා අවුරුදු සිරිත නැකත් සීට්ටුව ඉසතෙල් ගෑම අප්‍රේල් මස 17 වන බදාදා පූර්ව භාග 7:40ට පලාවන් පැහැති වස්ත්‍රාභරණයෙන් සැරසී නැගෙනහිර දිශාව බලා ඉසට කොහොඹ පද්ද පයට කොළොන් පද්ද තබා කොහොඹපත් මිශ්‍රණානුද තෙල් දගා ස්නානය කරනු මැනවි.
Newsfirst, Newsline with Faraz Shaukatali.
And welcome back to Newsline. Right, well, Mr. Rusiripala, that explains that angle. But is it right to say that it is the central bank who's the ultimate regulator in this thing?
It should be, no, Faraz.
Yeah.
The commercial banks have their own function, but overlooked by the central bank all the time.
So KYC, that onus is on the banks?
No, I mean, those are the basics that the bank has to do, but in the final analysis, the clearance will have to be through the central bank, no? If some attention is focused on any suspicious basis.
This is this financial monitoring.
It's not the bank that has to answer, no?
Right.
It is the central bank.
Right.
At least at that stage, the central bank will have to give a clearance that the entire procedure that is required to be gone through has been followed.
Right.
So therefore, to that extent, the central bank is responsible. They can't just say it's the responsibility of a commercial bank.
Right.
I mean, it's too much to be held in the hands of a central commercial bank.
And nor does, and I think the point here is that nor does, just because it comes through the banking system and not in cash notes, just because it comes through the banking system does not automatically follow, nor is it sort of implied that the money is clear money, clean money.
How can that be, Faraz?
Right.
There have been instances in this country, commercial banks, international banks operating in this country have remitted currencies out of the country against the regulations, and they have been fined by the central bank.
Indeed.
So the fact that a bank has handled a certain transaction doesn't give any conclusion that for us to decide that it has been done correctly.
Okay.
I mean, this is the only example I can give you.
Yes.
Because some time ago, we came across a
This is during the hedging.
During the hedging period, an international bank that's in operation, not only in this country, in all parts of the world, has remitted running into millions of hundreds of millions of dollars against the regulations, and they were fined by the central bank. So until they were detected by the central bank has done its duty. Only after the central bank went into it, they found that the bank has flouted.
Right, right. So it's clear that whatever the monitoring mechanism to monitor these things and to keep abreast of what's happening is a unit that's based within the central bank, and therefore ultimately the central bank is responsible.
I would like to reiterate that position. It is the ultimate authority.
It's the ultimate authority.
Yeah.
Right. Now then, now we find, Mr. Rusiripala, perhaps you can first of all clarify to me, if I pose you the question, what is FDI? What constitutes FDI?
Yeah. Now, for us, a foreign direct investment, in short, means in the interest of the country where the investment is coming.
Yeah.
An inward remittance or flow of clean foreign currency or some foreign currency unit that adds to the value of the foreign currency situation of the country. Any other form, you know, where you call it FDI, but the money doesn't come by way of foreign investment or foreign currency in terms of foreign units, it can't be a foreign investment.
So if somebody proposes something as a foreign direct investment,
Yes.
in terms of the fact that, let's say, the company is based abroad, it's registered abroad and so on, and its shareholders mainly live abroad,
Yeah.
all based out of Sri Lanka,
Yes.
and they then make an investment into Sri Lanka through the right channels and so on,
Yes.
that would be foreign direct investment.
Oh, most certainly, if the money comes in, if the investment amount that they are committing
Comes in.
comes in the proper channels, it is a foreign direct investment.
No argument about
No,
it.
no, there is no
Okay,
doubt
so
about it.
then what happens when such a proposal is made and maybe a little bit of the money is put down and brought through the banking system,
Yeah.
but the company then starts feeling the market locally for investment money?
Faraz,
Is that a part of FDI?
I don't know. I mean, if somebody tries to call such an investment thing, a pattern, system,
Yeah.
a foreign direct investment coming into the country,
Yeah.
it is a total misleading of the country into some situation, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
it cannot be foreign direct investment unless otherwise that the committed amount comes in the form of foreign currency into the country.
Right.
You
So,
see, if some company is trying to use, by virtue of the fact that they are established in a foreign currency,
Yeah.
whatever they do in this country cannot be construed as or recognized as foreign direct investment. If they, for example,
Yeah.
if there is a foreign registered company which comes here, floats a company in Sri Lanka and goes for a share issue,
yeah,
where the shareholders become Sri Lankans,
yeah.
the country, people in this country,
Yeah.
where is the foreign investment in them? But still,
Yeah.
it is a foreign company that has got involved.
Now, the reason I'm asking you is this.
Yes.
I think you may also be privy to this information, that there's a state bank, or a couple of state banks, I think the state banks must be, they've been either approached or they've already granted or are in the process of granting a company making an investment in Mirijavilla, which is off Hambantota, that a business connected with that is making or in search of up to 5 billion rupees. Have you heard that claim?
I heard it. Faraz, when we first spoke about it,
Yeah.
I think people in this country, some at least thought that, you know, we are just groping in the dark and we did not know what we were talking.
Yeah.
But now it is getting established further, step by step. You know, what was proposed and what they were trying to indicate was a complete facade, you know, of it is not the truth. The whole thing is, what we expect as citizens of this country is, let there be transparency in anything that anybody does.
Mm-hmm.
As long as that transparency is not there, the conjectures, you cannot stop that, no?
You can't stop it.
You are making some suspicious statement, somebody else making a suspicious statement.
Yeah.
What can the people do?
Correct.
We have been talking about it, no?
Yeah.
I mean, we will be doing that in the future as well, but we have been doing it enough to show that the country, whatever they do in the interest of, if it is in the interest of the country,
Yeah.
why there is no reason why it cannot be transparent. The whole,
Especially when it's government
it's government.
and the people's money and so on.
Yeah, and if the government institutions and establishments and government people are trying to take cover under, you know, privacies and all kinds of things,
Yeah.
I don't know where they get that right from. Whose money are they handling? Whose interest are they interested in? And on whose behalf are they performing their duties? So don't we have a right by ourselves, as for us,
Yeah.
outside all these limitations and regulatory fences and
Yeah.
barricades,
Yes.
to know the truth, to ask the truth, or to talk about what we know about it?
But some aspects of the Right to Information Act precludes us from finding out on the basis that this is something, some financial thing, and is very private.
I'm constrained to comment that the purpose of the Right to Information Act is not at all served in the context that it is being, how it is being operated today. I asked for some information about from the People's Bank. What is the People's Bank? Whose property is that?
It's the people's property.
I mean, 100% of the money, every cent in the People's Bank belongs to the state. And the depositors are the countrymen of this country. You know, the assets of the bank are what is lent to the people of this country. So therefore, and the bank owns money to the depositors as, you know, they are the people who have brought in the capital required for these people to lend, in addition to the capital that is put in by the government. So it is 100% government, 100% owned by the people. Still, the people have no right to access to information. They take command of all kinds of things, trying to call it, no, we are not public. When it comes to the question of releasing information, they have the excuse of saying, no, we are not totally public, we are a commercial institution. When it comes to us giving the information, but when it comes to other things, we are public. Paying the pensions to the employees, we are totally public. We won't like the government. You know, and
that's why I asked you this question, because there is another story doing its rounds, that the foreign currency banking unit of of a state bank has made a loan about, and then 13-14 months later it's been moved to non-performing loan. It's become, it's become a problem loan. Now, the amount concerned was originally, we feel that the original amount was 10 million United States dollars. And the amount transferred to the non-performing loan side of the books is 9.8 million US dollars. Now, once again, this is information that has come to us. We are in the process of checking the veracity of that claim, and we are looking at the supporting documentation. But that's why I'm not mentioning any names. But can you, have you also heard the same story?
No, I am privy to some information, Faraz. As I told before, we've been precluded from giving all what we know because of all these draconian things that are hanging on our heads, you know. So it's like the Damocles sword. So therefore we have to be careful about it. But in the national interest, I think sometimes I should break all these things and let go all this.
Indeed.
I mean, that is our mind. That's our mindset. But anyway, I would like to say, what you say is absolutely correct. A 10 million US dollar loan to a company that is registered outside the country.
Yes, that's the other point. The claim is that this company, that this facility of $10 million has been given to, and 9.8 million in the non-performing, moved to non-performing status, is actually not registered in Sri Lanka.
These are the cardinal issues for us. Now, as citizens, as ex-bankers, as people interested in the economy of this country, we want to know who granted this facility. For what purpose did they grant this facility? What was the security that was taken for granting this facility? Who takes the responsibility?
Yes, because where is the risk management? Clearly the risk management has failed, because this is 9.8 million US dollars. Put it another way, it's almost 180 million rupees.
Absolutely, Faraz. You are on the point. You say the risk management.
Sorry, it's not 180 million, it's 1,800.
Now see, 9.8 million, as you say, US dollars being transferred to non-performing after 1 year granting of, say, 10 million, shows many things. That for 1 year, for a period of 1 year, the loan has not been serviced at all.
And the money is approximately 1.8 billion with a B, 1,800 billion rupees.
Yeah. Now, going beyond the rupee content and the rupee value of the loan for us, we are so striving there's a dearth of foreign exchange in this country now.
We need foreign exchange.
We are approaching private banks, lenders, governments,
bonds,
everybody, and then calling for sovereign bonds to raise what? Foreign exchange.
Right.
And here is a loan granted freely by some state bank.
Yeah.
And definitely by a couple of individuals who are in authority, who are in high places, who have the power to take decisions, and they have done it. You are asking the question now, where is the risk management? You go through the whole paraphernalia of the security system of granting loans in a bank. You will see thousands, hundreds of committees, many committees, for such a facility need to go through, before it is approved. So, I mean, where are those bodies? What is the responsibility of those bodies? Who is sitting at the top? Who is taking the final decision? And what is the responsibility that is falling on the final approving authority for depriving the country of by $9 million US?
1,750, let's say roughly, billion is a million rupees is not chicken feed, is it?
Yeah.
There's another one in the last few minutes of the program. I want to ask you, the Mahapala Trust, the Higher Education Trust.
Yes.
Now, apparently, when the minister was Vijaydas Rajapaksa, there was a cabinet paper that was passed in cabinet that ensured that none of the Mahapala funds would be invested anywhere other than in state banks. And with the central bank. I suppose they mean bonds. And bills. All right. Now we are told that in actual fact, the same trust has broken the guidelines given, the orders of the cabinet of ministers to not invest in anything other than state banks. Now we find that some of these have been invested. I think 1.2 billion rupees has been placed on deposit with a finance company, a leasing and finance company, where the ultimate owner of that business is the state bank. Now, is that against the cabinet paper, or is it okay because it's owned by a state bank?
For us, this decision to submit a cabinet paper by Dr. Vijaydas Rajapaksa, is it happened in the context of the bond scam. People, the huge sums of money, a provident fund, employees trust fund, insurance corporation, National Savings Bank, and in addition, big funds like the Mahapala Trust Fund, where the money and the capital accumulation was very, very considerably large, that was focused on. And in this context, I think Mr. Vijaydas Rajapaksa did the right thing in focusing his attention to the funds and how they are invested and through what agency. So he managed to get the cabinet paper through, specifically taking a decision that such big funds in this fund, monies belonging to the trust, should not be invested in any place other than a state bank and the central bank, meaning the bonds and other things. But what happened recently, from what I also know, is that the Mahapala Trust Fund, some director or somebody in charge of the affairs has invested that money, 1,200 million, in a leasing company. And the worst scenario is to cover up I think it appears to be a cover up, because in the communications that we had access to.
Yeah.
Somebody made those things at, I mean, to us also.
Yeah.
So we had the chance of looking at it.
Yeah.
I mean, it has a misleading statement
at
below, at the end,
yeah.
to say that please place these monies in the naming a bank
in another state bank,
naming that bank,
yeah.
saying in the current account number such and such of that bank. Absolutely meaningless thing. When you put a fixed deposit in a leasing company, there is nothing more for that money to go into another current account unless otherwise after the maturity.
Absolutely.
But if it is after the majority, ipso facto it means that it has been already placed in the fixed deposit in that place.
Exactly.
Which is a violation of the cabinet decision.
Absolutely. And we need people like you and the media to highlight these things. You'll be hearing more about these things through News First. Do follow us on our news and our programs. We'll bring you the latest up-to-date news. Mr. Rusiripala, thank you very much for being on Newsline. And that's about it. Thank you very much, and God bless.
News First.